Hello and welcome to a special episode of What Could Have Been. If you didn't know, the Super Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot actually ends tomorrow, October 3rd, exactly 1 year after Super Smash Bros. For 3DS was released in North America. I can see it now, playing it in the car for 4 hours straight as my family drove to my cousin's wedding. Anyway. Since What Could Have Been discusses the characters you want to see in Smash, I figured something fun to do would be to discuss some of the most popular character choices. And for these popular selections, I'm looking to none other than Smashified. Smashified has been creating Super Smash Bros. Styled renders ever since the infamous Rayman leak earlier this year. Since Smashified creates renders based on requests, I assume it's pretty safe to say that the majority of these characters are popular in terms of the ballot. I'll be sharing my opinions on each character in this video, as well as some facts that might support or go against their inclusion in the game. As usual, make sure you give your opinions in the comments below, as well as vote for which characters you think are most likely to make it into Smash Wii U and 3DS's DLC in the straw poll in the description. First up is Dixie Kong, who was the most recent installment of Smashified. I think Dixie Kong has a pretty decent chance of being in the game, considering she was featured in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. After all, she's one of the Kongs that Nintendo isn't pretending doesn't exist. Sorry, lanky fans. She's also a pretty important character in the Donkey Kong series, with playable roles in Donkey Kong Countries 2 and 3. Also, she was once considered to be added to Brawl and is one of the Forbidden Seven. Now, personally, and despite some of the angry comments I've received for saying this before, I don't really want to see Dixie in the game. I feel she would be too similar to Diddy Kong, and I'd rather we get some more original characters. I'd rather see a different Donkey Kong character, maybe Cranky Kong or someone else, but we'll get to one later. Next is Isaac, the protagonist of the first Golden Sun game. The last game in the Golden Sun series was Golden Sun Dark Dawn on the DS in 2010, which really isn't super recent. And as far as I can see, Golden Sun is a pretty niche series. Isaac was featured in Brawl as an assist trophy, and he's completely absent from the current game. After all, it seems one of the common theories is that characters who are assist trophies can't be playable. Waluigi. Anyway, I actually made an Isaac moveset ideas video with the help of my friend Pancreas Man, which really gave me some clearer ideas on what he could do. In fact, I really like how the moveset turned out, and I think he'd be a cool addition to the game. Stay strong, Isaac fans. Next is Bomberman from Bomberman. He's been featured in many games over nearly every console in existence. Notably, however, Bomberman was never featured on Wii U or 3DS. I've never actually played Bomberman, so I don't have too much else to say. The only reason I'd be against him being in the game is I've never played it, and there are other characters I would prefer. But if he does get in the game, I'm sure I'd learn all about him. Next is Shantae. Her game was created by indie company WayForward and originally published by Capcom. Her first game was on the Game Boy Color, and its sequel, 8 years later, was released on the DSi before any other platform. Ever since, all installments of the series have been on Nintendo consoles. Personally, I think she'd be a cool addition to the game. I love how animated she is, and I literally mean her animations from her games. The guys at WayForward do a great job bringing all of their characters to life. The ability to transform via dancing would be a pretty interesting mechanic too, and no other characters attack with hair. Except for Dixie Kong, but she's not in the game, so. Next are the Inklings from Splatoon. I've said it before, but I think it's incredibly likely that they'll make it in. Splatoon is a brand new IP and a very popular one at that. I'm pretty confident that the Inkling Mii Fighter costumes in Smash were simply for cross-promotion, and considering how popular Splatoon has been, I think it would be a smart move for them to be added as DLC. I made an Inkling moveset a while back, although it was made before Splatoon had come out. As I touch on in that video, as well as over time since then, they might have some Sakurai-like issues preventing them from becoming playable, such as how they might be able to spread ink across the stage or attacking primarily with liquids, but regardless, I'd love to see them in the game. Next is Travis from Mother 4. I'm pretty sure he would never be added to Smash since he's from a fan game. Plus, in my opinion, we don't need a third PSI using 10-year-old on the roster. Next is King K. Rool. He's most recently been used in spin-off games such as Mario Super Sluggers for the Wii and DK Jungle Climber for the DS. He's a popular classic villain since he was featured in all 3 original Donkey Kong Country games. Plus, it's no secret that he was on top of many of the fighter ballot polls. Krool was added to the game in Mii Fighter form, but I'm suspicious that based on his ballot popularity, he still has a chance. Plus, the Smash team is known for having things planned or created way ahead of time, so it's perfectly feasible that the costume was planned before the ballot results started rolling in. Personally, I think he'd be a cool addition to the roster. I wanted to avoid being cliche, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Smash doesn't have too many villains or heavyweights, so he'd be a nice addition. Next are Banjo and Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie was originally on Nintendo consoles, but unfortunately, its creator, Rare, was purchased by Microsoft. Despite this, head of Microsoft's Xbox division, Phil Spencer, has come out saying that he'd be perfectly fine with having Banjo and Kazooie in Smash if Nintendo wanted them. I've never played Banjo Kazooie, but I really like the sort of last generation 3D platformer air about it. The duo would be a pretty cool addition and a nice callback to the original game's fans. Next is the cerulean coward himself, Shovel Knight. He's from an extremely popular indie title that was first released on Nintendo platforms. Shovel Knight is also the only non-Smash and non-Nintendo amiibo. Along with King K. Rool, Shovel Knight has been leading fighter ballot polls, which gives him a huge chance. Personally, I think he'd be a really cool addition. I really love Shovel Knight, and Plague of Shadows for the record, and I even made a Shovel Knight moveset ideas video. Shameless self-promotion. There have also been some rumors lately implying he might be added to the game, but I'd take them with a grain of salt. Again, he's not actually a Nintendo character and he's only had one game, and that game was from an indie developer. Nintendo has been supporting indie developers heavily lately, but I'm not sure that's enough reason. Second to last is the infamous Rayman. Now, all of Rayman's main series games have been featured on Nintendo consoles, but I'm not sure Nintendo has the best relationship with Ubisoft right now, considering the Rayman Legends fiasco. Basically, Rayman Legends was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, but after the poor initial sales of the Wii U, Ubisoft pulled out and delayed the game to develop it for additional platforms. Anyway, Rayman is another game I've never played, but I think he'd be interesting because of his non-existent limbs. Not to mention, it seems like his attacks in the modern Rayman games would fit right into a Smash moveset. Finally is Klonoa. All I can really say about him is that his series was made by Namco, who helped make Smash. Again, I've never played any of his games. I'm sure I'm going to receive a lot of flack for not playing a lot of these games. So, there's all the Smashified characters, some facts about them, and some of my opinions. But now it's your turn. Make sure to post your opinions on these characters in the comments below, and vote for which characters are the most probable in the straw poll linked in the description. Also, one other thing I want to say is that I'm predicting that even though the ballot ends tomorrow, nothing will happen. I'm pretty sure the only thing that will happen tomorrow is the ballot page closing, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Maybe Nintendo will surprise us. If there is a character announced, I will be doing an analysis of it. Anyway, that's all for this episode. I'll see you guys next time for the next episode of Smash Bros. What Could Have Been, which, there will be one, and it'll be about stages.